Hey everyone, really glad to see you here. It's our webinar before starting interoperability contest. And today's agenda is that, okay, first we will talk about a little bit what is interoperability in regard of InterSystems technology stack. And we have Stefan Wittmann, a product manager of InterSystems, who will introduce us to interoperability and the vision of solutions we are looking to have during this contest. And also we will have we'll do some demo of. We prepared a template for you, for the participants, which describes very basic, simple example of interoperability solution, and we encourage you to use it just to like have a good, very easy start. And also we will have some demos of our new feature, interoperability feature, which is called with the name PEX, or production extensions, and Eduard Lebedyuk will do the demo. Also, we will discuss all the bonuses, technology bonuses we introduced to this interoperability contest. And literally, it's what we want to see in your solutions, interoperability solutions on this contest. So, okay, let's start. And I introduce Stefan Wittmann, InterSystems product manager. And Stefan, really glad to have you here. Oh, so it works. Okay, and please, could you please introduce the vision of interoperability in regard of InterSystems technology stack? So,
Sure, absolutely. Happy to see you all here. I hope you can see my presentation. I only have a couple of slides for the basic introduction here. Special welcome to Scott. I just met you, I think, Friday for the first time in Virtual Summit, so great to see you here as well. Awesome. This is, I think, the first programming contest that we're having on something that we've had in the product for quite a long time, actually. So not everything here is absolutely brand new, but just in case you've never worked with interoperability in general in IRIS, you probably have catch up to do, but here's a very brief architecture of what you usually see. We have a concept that we call productions, which we in general use whenever we want to interoperate with multiple environments, applications, and frameworks. And that's, in terms of computer science, it's really very easy and simple, right? This is input on the left side with business services, or BS in short, on this slide. In the middle, you have some kind of an execution layer that operates on some kind of logic and or routing rules. So the first piece that you usually see is what we call a business router, or short, just a route. And what a route basically just does is it takes a message, it analyzes it, and based on very simple rules that you provide, let's say header information or content information, you route the message to other parts of your production. We have more complex elements in this middle layer, which is also a BPL, a business process language element. And that's a graphical element for you to orchestrate specific events and specify logic. So that's usually the more complex layer that happens after your routing has taken place. And on the right side, we have business operation, and that's your output. So you can send requests to your business operations, either to store data inside your IRIS instance or to reach out to other elements in your infrastructure. Like, let's say, another database and retrieve some data. You can call a REST service and retrieve data from there, or store data somewhere else. There are plenty of things that you can do with a business operation. And usually it takes place outside of IRIS, but the business operation can also be an endpoint to do something and achieve something within your IRIS instance, if you will. Usually it's some kind of an activity. of storing or retrieving data. For business services and business operations, because they're either your entry point or your exit gateway, they usually come with something we call an adapter, and that adapter basically abstracts away the way how you retrieve your data. This can be a file adapter, TCP adapter, email adapter, and so on. There are a couple of adapters that we ship in the product. What's new in the latest releases of IRIS is what we call production extensions, or short packs. And that's something that we're really interested in to see what you can think of for its usage. That's basically a framework which allows you to easily embed libraries or logic from other languages. As of today, we do support Java and the .NET framework, and we're working on expanding that further, so that you can easily extend your production capabilities to, let's say, include libraries and functionality that are not natively available in IRIS. That can be something really simple, like let's say just use a Kafka connector in Java. So you don't need that anymore now that we have native Kafka capabilities in IRIS, but that's a simple example. But it can also be a very complicated or very specific library that is only available in a very specific environment. And that allows you to easily bring it into your environment and then just make yourself use of it by just sending a request to that business operation or business service and then retrieving the response from it. That's the very basic architecture. It's very well documented. So if there's anything where you have to do some reading, please always check our documentation at docs.intersystems.com. As usual, be aware, depending on whether you want to do something that's generic and based on IRIS, or you want to do something that's healthcare related and you want to work on IRIS for health. There are obviously two separate branches in the documentation, one for IRIS and one for IRIS for health. So depending on what you want to pick, you obviously have to take a look at the different documentation branches. Some accelerators that we keep seeing that boost the technologies like interoperability productions is the move to cloud from on-prem and the use of hybrid environments. So you get more and more distributed environments and potentially microservices. That just leads to an environment that requires orchestration. And that's exactly what this layer is meant for, right? It allows you to orchestrate multiple services and functionality together and make sure that the workflow between those elements is in shape and that you have proper reporting on what's going on. So that's a very good use case for that. In general, we also see that the API usage is spiking more and more, obviously headed by REST and JSON, but there are other formats as well. And with those, usually go ahead OpenAPI as a specification, sometimes also REML, and API management as an area as well. But we're keeping API management out of this contest to have a proper scope. It's already pretty wide. And another topic is security. People are thinking more and more about ingress and egress concepts. To make sure that not everything is exposed and to have proper entry and exit gateways. And a concept like these productions can help with that approach as well. To give you some ideas, I mean, basically everything that's integration or an integration topic is viable. So the area this time is really very broad and you can pick what you like. The most important thing for me is that you're having fun and that you enjoy this contest. But I want to give you some ideas. If you want to think in the realms of IoT, we just released the IRIS Smart Factory Starter Pack on Open Exchange. You can take a look at that. That's a bit a more complicated, a more broader application that's also making use of production. So you can take a look at that. And by the way, it's not using PEX, but it's using Python. So that might be of interest to some of you. If you want to integrate with other solutions, then REST, SOAP, and also PEX, again, is something that's that might be of interest to you. And many use cases resolve around orchestrating complex processes. If you want to work on more healthcare-oriented problems, then I've also included a link here to what we call the HL7 Productivity Toolkit. And that includes a couple of interesting tools just for HL7. That includes the message analyzer, production generator, and also migration tooling, but that's not so applicable here. But it's mostly the message analyzer and the production generator that can give you a proper boost and a good starting point for building the solution. So if you want to start with IRIS for Health, then definitely take a look at the HL7 Productivity Toolkit. The last piece that I have, I don't know if Evgeny is covering that later on anyway, but I've listed all the bonus points here that you can use, and you have plenty of options this time to choose from, or quite a challenge if you want to use all of those bonus points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can discuss it actually. Yeah, go through one by one, and yes, thank you, Stefan. If you describe the bonuses, that would be great. Right? Yes, sure. Why we paid attention to it.
Sure, happy to do so. I mean, the idea of the bonus points, you're probably familiar with it, but if you're not, the idea is that if you're using certain parts of the functionality from IRIS or of the ecosystem that we are particularly interested in, or where we want to see some feedback on, then we provide bonus points to these kinds of capabilities. In this environment, we do have one for BPL, which means the business processing language, or a rules editor. So if you use one of those two, you will get a bonus point, which will help you later on in the ratings. If you're building your own custom adapter in ObjectScript, then this is worth 1 point as well. If you're using PEX, the production extensions, which is the new feature, then that's worth 2 points. And just to be clear about this, the custom adapter is something that you build in ObjectScript without the use of PEX. And PEX means that you're particularly using the PEX library framework. So those are two different ways of extending your library and connectivity capabilities. And one is giving you 1 point, the other 2. Workflow usage, in case you're not familiar with this, there's a component, a pre-built business operation in productions that allows you to send tasks to a human workforce to, let's say, review a certain item, or to agree on a certain decision of the production, so that you can go to the next step in the process, or to determine which step is the next appropriate one. That's something that's worth 1 point if you're using that. That's a very transparent way of dealing with human interaction. So that can be quite funny. And the other two are actually external elements that have nothing to do with productions per se. So ZPM, using the package manager, that makes it easier for us to test your solution and install it on our side, and in general boosts adoption. So that's always worth a point. And using Docker container images is also worth 1 point as well. That makes it also easier to move your solution around, basically, right?
Yeah, thank you, Stefan, very much. So just one comment. Not only easy, ZPM is not only for you to easy, for us to easier to install your apps. It's for you the way to, or actually for the whole community, to easy install and test your solution. And same with Docker, so it's easy to reproduce it, to start it, and actually what is really great, it's really easy to contribute. So if you want to continue development and collaborate. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Evgeny. So yeah, that's everything I have. So I hope you all enjoy the next 2 weeks. And I have a couple more minutes to stay on. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them.
Stefan, thank you very much. So colleagues who are online, please ask your questions in the chat or via voice. It's not a crowd here, so we can, I think, speak audially. So if you have any questions to Stefan, it is still Global Summit. You can ask product managers in live. So please enjoy this opportunity. Stefan actually spoke a lot about bonuses, and you can, if you have more questions on it, I will share my screen now. So you can find it on our on developer community in technology bonuses post. So and you have all the descriptions of all the technology features we want to see in your solutions be implemented, and the related documentations and examples related to each and every technology bonus. And you are welcome to ask the questions here in comments in developer community or in Discord as usually. Yes, so we have Discord, and we have interoperability contest chat, and so please, you're very welcome to chat here. So if there are any more questions, so you can then follow up with the questions to Stefan on developer community, also on Discord. So Stefan, thank you very much. And yeah, so I think we will now continue with the template we prepared for the contest. Okay, so the template, how you can find it. So we named it IRIS Interoperability Template. Interoperability. So it's really skill to type this in. So yes, here it is. And this is what is this? This is an interoperability solution, and as Stefan described, it consists of inbound adapter, then business service, and then business process which does something with data, and then the business operation with adapters to output the data. And so what we did, we decided to make a simple solution which takes data from Reddit, the site where every second you have a new data, and it's publicly available. So we introduced a new Reddit adapter, which is connected with the business services, which collects this data from Reddit every 15 seconds. And then this data goes into business process, which in this particular example is a business rule, which examines the data if it contains words with a dog or cat. And if it is dog, it takes this data and puts it in a file with the name dog. And if it finds word cat, it puts this message from Reddit to the file cat. So it's very sophisticated solution, but this is in fact an example of a production which you can use like a microservice. You can deploy it into a cloud and make it work, collecting cats and dogs from Reddit. So okay, let's examine how it works. So we click on Open Exchange like download, which leads us into a GitHub repository of this template. And as you see, we use the concept of GitHub templates, which introduces a nice handy button, use this template, which in fact lets us create a copy of this repository. Let's name it Interoperability demo. Okay, perfect. So I will create this repository now. And so basically this is indeed a copy of initial template. And then with this is already my repository, which I can use and develop in the way I want to do this. So I copy the URL to this repository, and then I open Visual Studio Code, a new window, and clone this repository using this handy clone the repository button. Usually I collect everything in a GitHub folder. So it clones these files into my laptop. So I opened it, and then I need first to stop. Just a sec. Okay. To stop containers run here, because I tested this demo before showing you. So we stop in container, and then we do right click on Docker Compose and select the item compose restart, which runs this sample with the Docker file and for us. Yes, now it works, and we can use the really handy VS Code menu here, where we can all the links, all the important links for this particular demo or project. So, for example, here we can find the link to production. Let's open it. Okay, so we see the production with the demo rated service, then filter posts rule, and two operations, file operation, at which we can change to email if you want to collect this data, not to files, but send via emails. Okay, let's see what we have in Reddit service here. So we have connection settings, which use as default SSL configuration, and then it reads Reddit from new subdirectory. So actually, basically, this will read the data from here, from Reddit/new. This data. So if you do it like that, like .json, you can get all this data from Reddit in JSON format. And actually what this simple service really does. Okay, and we will do this every 15 seconds. Let's start this production. Okay, it started. And let's see in the log, what do we have here? So we already did some requests. We have messages, nice. So let's see the data. Yes, we have an old output folder where we have cats and dogs. So if we find here dog, yeah, we have 3 of them, right? We have dogs here and cats. Nice. So this is production in action, and what else can we do here? So we have, as I mentioned, we have a business rule. Here is the rule. It's a very sophisticated one too, so it contains the rule to filter dogs and then to filter cats. So this we can change, for example, to whatever we want. Well, let's change it like to Trump, and for cat will be Biden. So this is how we can change the logic of our interoperability solution. just using like a low code or almost no code approach. This is what business rules of interoperability business rules in IRIS provide for you. Okay, let's save it. So if we save it, it immediately compiles, and next 15 seconds we will examine. Okay, so we already have a new file with Trump, right? Okay. So this is interoperability in action. And what do we have here from the source point of view? We have two packages. One is Reddit, which contains a custom inbound adapter and posts data to store all the posts, and interoperability solution, which contains email, file operation, production, business service, and two business operations. Okay, so, and actually, if we want to you see emails here like dog and cat. Yes, so you can also change the target sent from file operation here to you can switch to, for example, email operation if you want, and this will this is how interoperability in IRIS gives the way to develop interoperability solution. Okay, so we can already stop this production just to prevent my disk overflowing with some collected data. Let's stop it. And this is very simple production, but it gives you an example of really of a working interoperability solution, and with almost all the parts that usual interoperability solution contains. It's like an inbound adapter, business service, then business process, and outbound business operations with outbound adapters. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen. Hopes if we have any questions. So do we have any questions so far? No questions, right? I guess there are no questions because this is very simple but working interoperability solution, but very descriptive. So okay, let's follow our agenda, and I invite Eduard Lebedyuk to make a demo of PEX and describe more about production extensions. Eduard?
Hello everyone. Do you hear me? Do you see my screen?
Good. Yes, we hear you and we see your screen. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And let's all right, so here's a slide. I think Stefan was showing a similar slide. It's again interoperability production. And the power of interoperability productions is in the everything besides the components. There is a lot of things we are doing, so you can concentrate on writing business services, business process, and business operations to solve your real-life business problems. And we help with messaging. Messages are always persisted, and you can check what's going on and resend the messages and troubleshoot problems. Every component can connect in a synchronous or asynchronous way between each other. And it's very quick and easy to develop using built-in components and code generators, and it's easy to scale with changing their pool size. And that's the power of production framework. Recently, we have added another ability to our production configuration. It's called production extensions. It allows you to expand the library of adapters to connect new protocols and systems by accessing a large number of libraries available in Java and .NET with minimum development time. And in this demo, I will show you how it all works. All right, so where can you use PACS? And the answer is anywhere. There are absolutely no limitations at all. Adapters and services, processes, and operations, they can be made as a PACS, so they can be written in Java and in .NET. There are Java and .NET interfaces for every type of business host. You can access InterSystems IRIS globals and objects from your PACS host. And as for messaging goes, you have persistent messages. So normal, usual messages which work between different interoperability hosts also work in PACS. There is also a special persistent JSON PACS message which you can extend to add additional functionality and properties. And let's go to the demo. In our demo, we will show integration with Kafka cluster. Kafka is a message queue which has topics into which you can write messages, which is called producing them. And from these topics, you can read messages, which is called consuming. It defines the logic of our demonstration. First of all, we'll see the Java business operation, which would produce Kafka messages. We'll write it into Kafka. After that, we check that they are, in fact, into Kafka. And after that, we'll write a .NET service, which would read messages from the same topic and send them back into InterSystems IRIS. Okay, let's see. So here's our production. We have Kafka consumer, some test business process, and Kafka producer, which is a Java operation. Let's see how it's implemented. So our Kafka operation extends business operation. And first of all, we have two public properties. First one is servers, which we would use as a list of Kafka servers to connect to, and client ID, which is our identifier. You can add as many public properties as you like. Then you need to implement three methods. First of all is onInit. onInit is called once at the start of a process. In our case, we get a pointer to InterSystems IRIS as a private variable. It's not a setting. And we actually connect to Apache Kafka. And we are also doing some logging. There is support methods called loginfo, log warning, log error, and so on. They correspond to the usual interoperability macros. Second method is on teardown. It's called once at the end of a process lifecycle, and you need to free all the resources you consumed if there are any. It's essentially a finalizer. And finally, you have an onMessage method in which your business operation processes messages. So in our case, we receive some request and we log its file name, its class name, sorry. After that, we assume that our request has two properties, text and topic, which we write into local variables. And after that, we create Kafka record and send it to Kafka. And we return the response from our business operation as ans string container class with the message offset. In our production, it looks like this. We have remote business operation settings specific to PACS. First of all, we have remote class name, which is a class for our operation, Java class. Next, settings. One setting per line. The left part is a setting name, the right part is setting value. They correspond to settings seen here. Java Gateway host and port is where to find the Java Gateway. In our case, all this demo is running in Docker Compose, and it's published on OpenExchange, so you can easily reproduce it with just one command of Docker Compose up. Java Gateway is running in a separate container, and we connected it by host and port. And that's it. Let's test it. If we go into Kafka and check the topics, as you can see, there is no test topic, so nothing exists. There is just some system topics. All right, let's test it. We need to choose a request type, and here is our Kafka request, which has topic and text values. Everything with Unicode support, and I invoke testing service. And on visual trace, let's see it. Here's our message, serialized to XML, and here's the response from our business operation, which contains the offset. It's 0, so it's a 0 in the queue, in a topic on a Kafka side. Here is our logging that we received DC Kafka request. And for each message, we can see the time it was created and time it was processed and the status of this processing. And when we have dozens of systems and hundreds of different message types, and it really helps with checking what's going on, because all these values for messages, they are stored in a plain relational table. Well, actually, there are several relational tables. So you can easily query your production and see how your system all performs. Because when you have a lot of integrations, you have a lot of drift, like something downstream slows down or just overwhelmed with the number of messages, and it affects all the production, all our systems which are connected to it. And with a visual trace tool, you can very easily see the source of the problems and navigate to the system which slows down or throw some unexpected errors. And that's part of what makes production so powerful tool. All right, so if we go into Kafka, and you see we have our new topic, which is test, and it has just one message, which we will now see. Yeah, I'm fetching some latest messages, and I get my hello world message. And the second part is consuming the message. So we have Kafka consumer, and it's a .NET business service. We again implement business service interface now in .NET. Our settings are servers, again Kafka, and topic, which is a topic which we would listen to, and messages from this topic we would consume. And we have target config names, which is a standard property which tells our business service where to send the messages we receive. So after that, we have on init method. The interfaces in Java and .NET were all really the same, and more importantly, they are completely the same as the usual object script interoperability. So they're the same methods, and they perform the same logic, just in another language. So on init is called once. On process startup, you do some initialization. In our case, we create a Kafka consumer and actually subscribe to the topic, do some logging, and on tear down, we shut down our resources. And on process input, which is called once every time the service is called, in our case, it would be 0.1 second. We have an endless loop where we read all the messages we can and send them to our target as a string container. So, and on the interoperability side, we have class name for our .NET class, our settings, which are public properties in the business service class, and the .NET container to connect to. gateways can be on the same instance, they can be a remote instance, maybe another container. It doesn't matter. Gateways can be deployed in a variety of architectures. It all depends on what your application needs. All right, we have started our service. Let's see. Yeah, we connected and we consumed our message. Here it is, hello world. And we sent it to business process, which is not enabled. So the message is unqueued. And if you go to queues, you can see that there is a message for business process to process. And when we start it, it would do some processing and consume, essentially do something with this Kafka message. Let's get back to the presentation. So debugging. There are logging methods corresponding to the usual macros. Info, alert, warning, error, assert, and you can see all of them on Visual Trace. There is also remote debugging in Java and Net. So you can debug there remotely, and well, it would work the same with PEX business hosts. Deployment. You can deploy natively or in Docker because, again, Gateway supports a variety of architectures. There's an article on InterSystems community talking about Docker deployment because there are some interesting tricks you can use to slim down your Gateway image. And to sum up, you can develop any part of Interoperability Production in Java and .NET. You can deploy in Docker or natively. And you can use a large amount of libraries available in Java and .NET. And that's it for my demo. And if you have any questions, you're free to ask them. Also, I have some ideas for contestants, which I'd like to talk about. Evgeny, we have the time, right?
Yes, we have time. We have questions, actually.
Okay, let's start with the questions. I'm not seeing the question. Oh, yeah, I am seeing the questions. Is it possible to receive a binary file on message? Yes, in Java, in .NET, in ObjectScript are all the languages with the ability to work with binary contents, so there is no problem. It could be a binary file or it could be binary stream. On binary InterSystems IRIS binary stream becomes a byte array on Java and .NET side. So yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, colleagues, if you have any questions to Eduard, please go ahead. I mean, loudly or in the chat. Eduard, thank you very much for your very thorough and descriptive presentation. Yeah, and so we can proceed with ideas.
Yeah, and if someone thinks of a PEX question or interoperability question, I would be happy to answer them. I have a lot of experience with interoperability, designing interoperability productions for heavy load use for different integrations. So some ideas for contestants. IMAP. So InterSystems IRIS support SMTP and POP3 for receiving and sending mail, but there is currently no support for IMAP, and maybe adding it would be an interesting addition. There's some discussion, so it would be only the business service part, because IMAP is strictly message receiving message consume protocol, so to say. You don't use IMAP to send messages, emails. You only use IMAP to get them. So that's like part of the production gun already. Second one, REST APIs are very popular these days. Really, all the modern tools have REST API. And for a while, we didn't have a unified REST API specification format. Well, we still don't have it, but Swagger is at least popular and widely accepted, even if it's not a real standard. So InterSystems IRIS works great with producing or consuming REST APIs, but it currently can produce a specification of business service from it can produce Swagger specification from a REST API, but the idea is to add some kind of importer which loads Swagger specification and generates a business operation. It would simplify creating REST business operations if there is a Swagger specification available. To add to the previous question, there is an idea of the business service for binary protocols. So similar to Swagger, but if you want to work with metal, with bare metal, there are some actually already working generators for binary protocols, parsers, and the idea is to extend them to produce ObjectScript business service. So there are a lot of binary protocols. InterSystems IRIS support MQTT, MQP, OPC UA recently, but the reality is there are a lot of custom, never seen before binary protocols for every type of device imaginable, and it's really not possible to provide them all because in a lot of situations you get the protocol specification only after you buy the device using this protocol from manufacturer, for example. It's a very real situation which you encounter, and the ability to generate ObjectScript parser would be really great to see. So the idea is you write a declarative specification of what's inside this binary protocol, and based on that, there are a lot of tools which generate the parser for this protocol. Check out the write-up. I've done some preliminary research about it. Maybe you would be interested, especially if you work with binary protocols. And ML operation is the idea that currently Python Gateway provides a Python operation which you use to execute arbitrary Python code. On the other hand, InterSystems IRIS provides integrated ML, which is a very high-level tool to develop predictive models automatically. And I feel like there is currently a certain gap between a very low-level approach Python Gateway uses and very high-level approach integrated ML offers, which can be filled by ML operation, which takes the which essentially provides a wrapper of a fit, predict, optimize interface. That's the idea. And again, there's some preliminary work done. You can follow the link. I don't know if we will send the presentations, but it's all written on InterSystems community here, and I'm always open for discussion on these topics or other topics related to the contest you might have. So, any other questions?
Edward, thank you very much. Thank you. And yes, questions are welcome. And to continue, yes, what Edward was talking about, these ideas, you can find it in the post or in the announcement of the contest on developer community. So you're very welcome to follow these ideas and discuss it. And as well, of course, you're very welcome to come up with any solutions, anything you think IRIS Interoperability can help you with to implement your idea. Okay, do we have any questions today? Not very much. So I think we can say that our kickoff webinar is done. So we had a great event today. We discussed, we demoed simple and PEX productions, and we are looking forward to see your interoperability solutions in an interoperability contest, and wish you luck. Have a great week. Thank you very much.